I just have a personal drive to always want to make things better, to make situations better. I'm not satisfied with just doing something acceptably. I want to be the best at whatever it is that I'm doing. I want to have the best run city that can possibly be there, and I want to be the best father I can and the best committed husband. I went to graduate school, so at Yale University, and I met my wife, Catherine, there in class. She was the first person I'd met that actually had more books than I did. It was a nice, long courtship and eventual marriage.
I'm Eric Papenfuss's wife, Catherine, and I'm also Eric Papenfuss's #1 campaign supporter.
I'm focused on creating a balance between work and home and domestic life and political life, and you know, that's something that I really see at the core of everything that I do. When I started out, it was very difficult to to read the criticism on Penn Live. It's almost like you're fair game, and it can be brutal and exhausting. You need to be yourself. You need to be true to yourself. You need to stand up for what you believe in, even if those things are unpopular.
I feel the weight and the importance and the magnitude of all that needs to be done. And I'm up to the task, and I'm ready for the job, and I'm going to work hard.
We were hemorrhaging money, we were hemorrhaging people. The basic needs of the city weren't being addressed. The fire department was virtually cut in half. The police department had gone down to almost about half of what it had been. It had been over 200 officers, and it was down to barely over 100 officers. Every aspect of city services had been completely gutted. I had to make sure that Commissioner Carter was put in head of the police department, because I felt he was the only person who knew the pulse of the community enough to be able to lead that department properly. I promoted Aaron Johnson to be the head of the Public Works Department. I remember having to really work hard to convince Brian Enderlein to become chief of the fire department, because he was so concerned about the way the fire department had been decimated. It took a leap of faith for him to want to lead that, and he's done a tremendous job building it back up. And one of the first projects that I took on, and I'm proud of this project, was the LED conversion and upgrade of all the city's streetlights. Because at that point, whole neighborhoods were in the dark. There had been no investment in infrastructure. And the only reason we were able to do that is because it was a project that paid for itself based on the future savings, electrical savings, that they would achieve.
The ground has been sinking along South 14th Street for months, and residents want answers.
I remember getting the call that a sinkhole had opened up on South 14th Street. And I remember going out there and seeing this hole in the ground. And I heard stories about how in the past, when a sinkhole had opened up, it had just sort of been covered over again. And then being overwhelmed with the sort of daunting task of how do you relocate 50 people or have resources to be able to pay for their homes. I remember getting to work and working with the congressional delegation and putting all sorts of pressure on Washington to help. And we ended up getting millions of dollars from Washington. And Harrisburg was the first city to be able to use federal disaster relief money for sinkhole mitigation, to be able to purchase everyone's home, pay for people to be relocated safely, and create a park. But it was so overwhelming and so daunting at first that I do remember, just coming home and not being able to sleep. Insomnia sort of comes with the job, because you're always worried about something or thinking about something or trying to help in some way. It is very difficult to ever turn off the switch. There is just a constant amount of work which continually has to be done. I didn't even have a business administrator for the first 5 or 6 years, or any chief of staff or second. I had to do everything on my own because we didn't have the money to pay for anything. We really turned the city around, and we built it back from the brink of disaster. I'm Eric Papenfuss, and I approve this message.